We are recording. Okay. Welcome all to the Black Column Podcast. We are here once again. I am your host, Jabaya, aka the Crew Philosopher.
And I'm Shannon, aka your favorite blurred.
Yes. And we are here again for another podcast. Shannon, how are you doing, my friend?
Good. The world.
Oh God.
It seems like, you know, we were in the dark, crawling in the trenches, and then you finally see the end of a dark period. That's how I feel.
Shannon is overjoyed because you guys know how she feels about Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So for her, today is a great day to be a patriot. I am both happy and incredibly frustrated. And
why?
Because I think the response to Kamala and Joe Biden is showing signs that we're about to have 4 years of no accountability whatsoever, which has me extremely worried. But
what do you mean?
But hold on, just I'm just saying the tweets from journalists and the reaction to the inauguration yesterday. It's almost like, they're going to get 2 years of softball questions from journalists or people not really asking them or following up on any of the promises that were made. That's the path that I think we're walking down. But who knows? I could be wrong. I doubt it, but I
feel like, yes, that is very negative of you. I think we're off to a great start, but we might be burning out soon. So we'll see.
Yes, we will see. But before we get into everything, Shannon, how was your weekend?
No, you did not ask me how my weekend was. It was good. Nothing eventful.
Nothing worth talking about?
No, nothing worth talking about. It was very bland. How was yours?
Yeah. For me, I think the same.
Sorry.
I like how you just slowly turn in your chair.
I hit play on another podcast I was listening to. Sorry.
Are you good? You good? For me, the same. Nothing really eventful happened. Like I said, not much to do in the middle of a pandemic, except for trying to get back to normal. So we got that out the way. We have the 46th?
Yes.
The 46th president of the United States of America was chosen by the people. Well, he was chosen back in November, but it was officially inaugurated. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they had their inauguration ceremony. It was a star-studded event. You had Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. You had, of course, Joe and his wife. You had Kamala, her husband, and them. You had Nancy Pelosi was there. You had Mike Pence was there.
Bernie Sanders was there in his mittens.
Hey man, what y'all did to Bernie Sanders was wrong. The way I turned that man into a
it's so funny. It's all in good fun. All the memes are hilarious.
That man showed up like it was just another day. He should have Bernie should have it was Wednesday.
Bernie's cold. Listen, he wants to stay warm. He doesn't care about y'all. He doesn't care about fashion. He's a practical man.
He is very practical. That man showed up like it was Wednesday. He's like, hey, inauguration. Okay, I'll stop by for a half hour. I gotta go ahead and take this envelope.
His package for the post office.
Sit in his chair, his hands crossed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bernie. So do you have a lot of Lady Gaga there, and J Lo was there as well.
Did you see the Hunger Games?
I didn't watch the inauguration.
But you didn't watch the inauguration? But have you seen the Hunger Games movies?
Yeah.
But you didn't see the inauguration. Did you see Lady Gaga's outfit? Didn't she look like she came straight out of those movies? have
heard that she have like the emblem somewhere?
Yeah, and just her whole outfit in general and the emblem. Yeah, she looked like she came right out of the Hunger Games movie.
Yeah, so I didn't see I didn't watch any of the inauguration. I didn't feel any reason to watch it. Did you watch it?
I watched some of it. I watched some of the afternoon portion. I didn't see any of the nighttime stuff.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't watch the morning or the nighttime, but I knew for a damn sure I was gonna watch the nighttime stuff. the morning time, I was just like, we kind of know how this is gonna play out. Biden gave a speech. Apparently, it was a unifying speech. Though when I was reading snippets of the speech, it didn't really sound that unifying. It sounded like.
I actually missed his speech. I had a work meeting that they decided to schedule and then realized that they scheduled it over the inauguration. So I missed his speech. I heard Kamala's speech. I didn't hear his speech.
Was Kamala's speech any good?
Yeah, it was.
Decent.
Yes, it was
Yeah,
a good speech.
I didn't care to hear either ones. That said, what I will say though is I do like the fact that Mike Pence showed up.
Yes, be the bigger person, Mike. I appreciated that.
Yeah, me too. Do you think it was actually a good thing that Trump didn't show up? Or do you think it would have been best?
I don't really think anyone cared to have him there. So I honestly don't care that he wasn't there. I don't feel outraged that he didn't show up.
Not caring to have him there is one thing, but it doesn't answer my question regarding do you think it was do you think it would have been a good thing he was there, or do you think it was better that it turned out that he didn't show up?
I think it was a good thing that he wasn't there.
I'm mixed because on one hand, I feel like his presence there would have been inauthentic because he doesn't like any one of those people. He doesn't like Joe Biden. He doesn't like Obama, and like it would be weird if I was called racist for like years by people to just show up and pretend like I like them. I couldn't do it, so I would have had to miss it. But on the other hand, as a son of, I think he's like one of 3 presidents that didn't show up to the following president's inauguration. I think like one of 3, and so it would have been equally like I like that he wasn't there only because I think the media would have made the event about him. They would have been constantly having camera angles on his face when Joe Biden says certain things about lies and this and that. So I think it actually turned out better for everyone that he wasn't there, and having Mike Pence there who was a representative of the Trump administration. It kind of you still got the sense that let bygones be bygones, so to speak.
Yeah, which
you kind of need in a democracy. So I like that. There was a poem that was read allegedly, apparently, that blew people away.
It was not apparently. It happened. A poem was read.
No, the apparently part is blowing people away.
Oh yeah, it was an amazing poem. It was great. I forgot her name, which I feel like I want to. What's her name?
Sheila does a quick Google. Yeah, I heard it was a really good poem.
It was a really good poem.
We're just saying
Amanda Gorman.
Okay, salute to you, Amanda.
And she's the youngest poet.
Yeah, she was 22, right?
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, 22 years old. Read a poem. Apparently, everyone loved it. Which is saying a lot because I don't really find that poems to be that it's words.
What do you mean? How can you not find poems to be anything when you are a musician, a singer?
That's what I was just about to say. Poems were the thing before lyrics for songs and like rappers. Think about it. The best poets are rappers now, I think. So then why
rappers that write their own music, you mean?
Yeah, like Kendrick Lamar or like Jay-Z, like that is what poetry was back in the day. But now they've moved on into music and the beat next to it. And so I think because of that, I've kind of cared less about actual poetry. But apparently she said some really moving things, and it's hard for me to tell sometimes whether the people really felt that way about something or if this is the mainstream media just blowing shit.
No, it was a good poem. It was really good. You should go back and listen to it on your spare time.
I'm gonna read it. My new thing in 2021 is to read the transcripts. No, because I don't want to get mesmerized by kind of the theater of everything.
Okay.
Right? Like to me, if something impresses me when I read it, it was impressive. Like if I read your words, it was impressive. Now I understand that for some things, the context matters, right? Like the way it looks, the wind blowing, and her standing there, and I get it. And I probably will watch the video at some point. But reading the transcript, that's what I'm gonna do. She gained like a bunch of Twitter followers. She was at I think before the inauguration, like 50,000. Last I checked, she was at like 987,000 Twitter followers.
Rightfully so. She deserved that. Also, okay, read the transcript, but then also watch the video after.
I will.
Okay.
I will attempt to do that. Now, regarding the inauguration ceremony, one thing that I definitely wanted to touch on. When we started this channel, I kind of told you that I was conflicted in my feelings because a lot of the rhetoric around the inauguration was a little bit too celebratory from journalists. Now, if you're a citizen or civilian, of course you should celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as a journalist, you kind of have a responsibility to remember, yo, you're a journalist. You're not a cheerleader.
Yes, a responsibility to remain impartial. Yes.
Yeah, and this is my biggest issue with Van Jones. And yes, I was always going to go there with Van Jones. I don't like Van. He's always on TV crying. He's always he's like he'll in one breath he'll say after Trump gave his State of the Union address, I think his first one, didn't Van Jones say, "Now this is when he became the president"? You know, he'll work with the Trump administration for like the First Step Act, but then rumors came out that he didn't want to be in the pictures because he didn't want to be viewed as working with the president. Like he seems like a guy that doesn't have a strong moral center.
Van Jones is problematic amongst a lot of folks. He's a little.
That's strange because everyone finds him to be annoying. The left, the right, he has no fans. and so there was a lot of Van Jonesing going on the timeline yesterday, and it got me concerned because, and this part is going out directly to African Americans, right? I'm speaking directly to you right now. Matter of fact, hear me. We have to remember that a lot of our frustrations about our position amongst the Democratic Party when it comes to their issues, right? A lot of our frustrations come out from this feeling that we have that we are taken advantage of, that the black vote is disrespected. They come around every 4 years when they need something, but then they push us into the back and don't acknowledge us when it comes down to policy. And so I think it's very important for people, there was a lot of celebrating that Kamala Harris, the first female VP, first black female VP, first Asian VP. Like every article, they made it a point to list those three things: first female VP, first black VP, first black female VP, and first Asian VP.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking to myself, why does this annoy me so much? Go ahead, Shannon.
No, go ahead. I was going to wait for you to finish your thought.
Yeah. And I realized it annoyed me because as a personal belief, you know how I feel about identity politics, generally speaking. But just from a strategical, critique, the left, and when I say the left, I mean Democrats, what they are doing now, they are putting people in positions of power based off of their identity to continuously carry, corporate policies. So, for example, Obama becoming the first black president, but nothing he did was really that transformative. Okay. He kind of did the exact same thing as his predecessors would have, Bill Clinton or whoever. There was nothing unique about the man other than the fact that he was black. So his identity was special. His identity got us to fall in love with him and to feel this sense of pride. But his policies, his policies weren't transformative. There was nothing different about him at all. If there was such a thing as black politics, which there isn't, but if there was such a thing, he didn't have them. He didn't have them. And I want to remind people not to fall for what I think is the trick. And this is not a right now, it's a left wing thing, but it's going to become a left and right wing thing in the future as well, which is parties that diversify the aesthetic of their constituents, but the politics and the policies remain the same.
Okay.
If African Americans in particular don't want to find themselves disappointed 2, 3, 4 years from now, it is very important that we hold Kamala Harris and Joe Biden accountable for everything they do. Don't become cheerleaders just because oh, we got one of us in there now. I saw a lot of
I
that.
don't. Yeah, no. Go ahead before I say anything.
Finish. Yeah, as I want to say, it's not me hating. I understand that everyone is different, right? I am not in identity politics. I'm not the guy that says, oh, finally, Obama being the president makes me feel like I can do anything in the world. I'm not that guy. But I understand everyone is different. And so what I want to say is, remember, it is policy over identity.
Yes.
Judge these two individuals, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, on their policies over the next 4 years. Don't get enamored with her identity. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead, Shannon. Sorry for taking.
I don't really think. Sorry. Okay, so I don't really think a lot of people. I mean, I feel like it's good to celebrate the fact that after 45 white vice presidents, that don't do that.
Shannon.
After having 45 white vice presidents, I think it's perfectly fine to celebrate the fact that somebody of Black and South Asian descent has made it into the White House. I think that's perfectly fine. I don't think that people are fetishizing the fact that she's of color. I think that people are acknowledging it as being historical. But from what I've been seeing widely online is that people still plan to hold them accountable. That's what I've been seeing.
Yeah, and a lot of this comes down to who you follow.
Yeah, and like another thing is like Kamala Harris is not widely liked, for her past and the policies that she supported in the past. She's not a widely liked person, but people feel what happened?
She's not widely liked by African Americans, but she is widely celebrated by the establishment.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, by African Americans, she is not widely liked, but people can recognize and admire the fact that somebody of her stature has made it into the White House.
Okay, yeah, that's all I want to say because I feel like Sean King got some pushback yesterday because
Sean King always gets pushback. Let me shut up. Okay, go ahead.
Oh snap! Wait, no, say what you gotta say, Shannon.
Nothing.
You hate Sean? You hate?
I don't hate Sean King. I follow him, but I feel like he's a little problematic.
I mean, I don't follow Sean King. I just happen to be checking his Twitter because one of his tweets got retweeted to my timeline. But for this particular tweet, what he said made sense. And what Sean said was, he said that promises were made by the Biden campaign to do certain things for criminal justice reform day one. And when Sean went and checked the list of the day one executive orders, he didn't really see anything that he thought was dismantling criminal justice day one.
Okay.
And he got pushback. But to me, I like that. If you're going to tell me something that you're going to do day one means day one. Day one is the equivalent to on site. On site means if I see on site, that means when I see you, I'm going to whoop your ass. That is the literal definition of on site. There's no words. It is on site. Day one means day one. Day one is not a figure of speech. It is literal, meaning the first day I am in office, I'm going to do X. So if Joe Biden said that day one he was going to, I don't know, pass some executive orders, to help deal with criminal justice, and he didn't do it, then Sean King to me was well within his rights to get mad. But he got pushback from people saying that, oh, he's being divisive, or give him some time, give him a chance. And that attitude I don't like. Hold these people accountable for what they say. Because guess what? If you don't think you're going to be able, if you don't think that you will be able to do something, then just don't say it. You didn't have to make that promise to me. Don't say it. So I like, in this particular instance, I like the energy that Sean King was bringing, personally.
Okay. Like I said, I don't have a huge problem with Sean King. I follow him. I respect his activism work. I just think, never mind. What I even have to say about him isn't even relevant to this. Yes.
It's relevant to me. Why you don't like Sean King?
I didn't say I didn't like Sean King. I just said I like Sean King.
Do you think he's black? I don't.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said a little bit of him is problematic because,
But it's only problematic because he refuses to tell the truth.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why it's problematic.
He's the Rachel Dolezal that y'all accepted.
Yeah.
That's who Sean King is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I appreciate his activism, and I still think you can be just as much of an activist, even if you admit that you're not black.
Like, he's always in the news for like stealing stuff.
Is he?
Yeah, right. Like I'm sure his name has been associated with funds going to like his organizations, but not going out to certain people. Now, I don't want to gossip, but when you're being accused of the same thing multiple times by different black women, it makes me look at you different.
Oh, right. Yes. I know about this. Okay.
That's when I start looking at you like, all right, Sean, it's like the fifth black woman that said this about you now. I can't be doing this. But I agree. In this particular instance, I like the energy Sean King was coming with. To be honest with you. So are there any other thoughts you have about the inauguration? We talked about Bernie.
Well, like I said, I didn't watch a large part of it, so I don't really have a lot of commentary on the actual inauguration. J-Lo performed. I saw that, and she used her performance at the inauguration to promote her own music, which I thought was inappropriate. But
how?
She just plugged like something from one of her new songs in the middle of the Star Spangled Banner or whatever song that she sung. So, time and place.
How does J-Lo keep getting invited to these things? J-Lo is not the person you call to do political.
J-Lo's not a person I would call to do any kind of opening song. Like, she's okay, but I never thought she was a spectacular singer.
She's not.
She's not.
She is a. It's gonna sound bad. She is. In fact, let me Google this real quick. I want to Google the word objectification.
Wait, what? What are you Googling?
Objectification.
Oh.
All right. J-Lo is the epitome of an object of desire. She is an object of desire. She is a Spanish woman who has a phenomenal body, a big behind, and C+ level talent. I think we would agree with that, right?
Yes.
C+. She's not a bad singer.
No.
She's not. There's just nothing exceptional about anything she does. She's not a horrible actress, but she's not good. She's a C+. Woman with who's great to look at, and that's been her career. That's why I'm saying I don't understand how J-Lo get the call to do a political selection.
I just feel like if they were trying to reach for a diverse group of talent, there's plenty of other people they could have chosen to do it.
That's my point.
Yeah,
like people who do those type of songs, they sang like that's what they do. Like Lady Gaga, for example, Beyonce, John Legend. Like these are people who are known for their voices, right? Jasmine Sullivan. Like it was a list of people that who Jessie, what's that girl name? The white girl.
Who?
Jessie, the white girl.
I don't know who you're
I don't remember her name.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Ariana Grande. Like these are people who get paid. Whitney Houston when she was alive. They're known for their voices. That didn't make sense to me, but I saw people talking about her. But yeah, it wouldn't shock me that J-Lo used this opportunity to sell some music. Doesn't shock me at all. So all right, so yeah, me and you don't really watch anything more, so we can move on from that. Next thing to talk about: Joe Biden did keep his word in some respects because he signed a list of executive orders on January 20th.
Yes, and my loans are getting extended. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
As soon as I saw that, I said, I know Shannon's happy. I said, I know Shannon's happy about this. That's what we talked about. So yeah, he signed a bunch of executive orders, and Shannon sent me this very, very convenient article because I had one too. But see, this is what I like. It's Market Watch that sent it to us. In fact, let me go ahead and do what I came to do with this screen here.
The thing that's confusing me though is that in this little chart in the middle where it says type of action, some of it says executive order. Like the extend student loan pause is a request. That's what they said. That's what they categorize it under. So I don't know what that means.
So here's what I'm guessing, based off of here. Although we can do our own work here. Matter of fact. So I know we know what an executive order is. I don't know what this is. Look it up.
Sign an instrument. Don't know what that means.
Just give me. All right, let's look it up. Sign and interest. That's what it said, right? Sign.
It says
Oh,
instrument.
Whoops. Sign and instrument. All right, what does that mean? What does sign and instrument mean?
Instrument, Jabaya.
All right. Legal instrument is considered executed once it has been given validity and legal effect. It says legal instrument is a legal term of art that is used for any formally executed written document. So I'm guessing because the climate agreement is international,
Okay.
Deal that he can't really do an executive order. He can just say, hey, we plan on rejoining this as soon as we can.
Okay.
The request, this makes sense. He can't technically do anything that has to do with foreclosures in the education department when it comes to student loans. I don't think so. He has to request for it to be done.
Got it.
Pretty sure that's accurate, though we could be wrong. And then
do I have to make a payment on January 31st? That's all I want to know. Someone tell me.
No. And then the memorandum. Let's go ahead and look that up. A written message in business or diplomacy, a note or record meant for future use, a document recording the terms of a contract or other legal details. Yeah, none of that helps me, but okay. Well, preserved for. So let's read through these one by one. It's about
17.
It's 17. So let's go. So re-engage with the World Health Organization, and so he's ending the withdrawal process. So Trump, as we all know, was withdrawing from WHO. He plans to rejoin WHO. Do you agree? Disagree, Shannon?
I agree, absolutely. Why did we withdraw from the World Health Organization in the height of a pandemic?
So Trump said, now once again, I know how y'all feel about Trump. Remove your feelings. Trump said that he wanted to withdraw from WHO because it was pretty much a compromised organization. Like China had a disproportionate amount of influence over WHO because they weren't doing investigations into where the virus came from. Now, I think that is a reasonable accusation against the World Health Organization.
Now, if it's true,
yes, it does seem to be true.
Okay,
based on certain things that the World Health Organization has done or not done to assist or maybe not upset China, if that makes sense. And that is a problem. Though, I do agree with you that during the height of a pandemic, it is in the best interest of the country to remain a part of WHO. Just for the fact, the simple fact, you want to know what they're doing. If you do believe that, the WHO is being controlled by China, what do you want to be a part of it so you can keep tabs on what's happening? So we both agree. Create position of COVID-19 response coordinator. Yes, like I said, this is a national situation. So even if you leave up the specifics to the states, you have to have a national coordinated response to this thing. Rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement. I believe that is the agreement that was struck between, I think, 200 countries to move towards a more eco-friendly use of gases and oils.
Yes,
so that is a good thing. Even though climate change is weird because I have no idea if we can really do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
at this point,
I feel like at this point, maybe not. Actually, I don't. There were a lot of articles that scientists were saying that we have up until this point before like climate change is irreversible or like we can't reverse the damage that's already been done. But we can kind of like, I feel like something can be done to kind of like slow it down a little bit so that the glaciers don't melt any faster. I don't know.
So I would like to just point out to people that me saying that I don't think anything can be done is not me suggesting that we shouldn't do anything. It's more so I feel like the language around climate change is weird because we talk about it like, oh, if we have this, if we don't do anything now, then the plan is done. No, well, the Earth will be fine. We're the ones that are going to be in trouble. right? Like the Earth will be able to exist. We'll die off because the ozone layer is destroyed or whatever. The Earth is going to recalibrate. There'll be new vegetation that grows and new animals. A bunch of them will die, but new animals will come around. So the Earth will be fine. We're the ones that need to make the change, or else we're done.
I feel like with the way they're hiding a lot of advanced science from us. I keep reading these articles about China and Europe building these artificial super soldiers, serums, all this stuff that they're injecting into their soldiers. I feel like we can build some kind of synthetic ozone layer. Let's put it up there. I don't know how, but I feel like something like that is possible.
Shannon, you sound like a combination between Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not. Okay. Also, he revoked the permit for the Keystone pipeline, pause energy leasing, and ANWR. This was now, I believe this was the controversy around the Keystone was it was going to like sacred land, right?
Yeah. Yes, it was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't it crazy that to this day we just treat the natives like shit?
It is crazy. Absolutely.
I don't understand it. Like, even if just for self-preservation and my own karma, I wouldn't want to piss off another Native American until I died if I was any white person. I wouldn't do it. So I'm sure that now when these things happen, because there was a statement released, I think, from the Keystone side. Let me see if I can find it. And he was basically lamenting how this is going to cost jobs and it will. Because I have no doubt that a bunch of people were working on stuff related to this. So let's go here. Buttigieg defends Biden killing. Okay, so I want to see if this article has the response from the unions. Environmental ideologues have now prevailed, and over 1,000 union men and women have been terminated from employment on the project, North America's building trade union said in a statement following Biden's actions. And then they asked Buttigieg. He says he's optimistic that the losses will be offset by new positions created as like I said, so yeah, this is going to have an impact on jobs. It does. But you're weighing jobs against being climate, like you said, climate conscious. Now, to a certain degree, I think it is disingenuous for him to believe that the same people who are working on the pipeline will be able to work on any climate conscious, like technology. It's never that case where you could just take a coal miner and have him build, I don't know, like a wind turn pipe or whatever. It doesn't really work that way. But like I said, it's a tough decision that you have to make. But I'm siding with the Biden campaign on that one.
As am I.
Yes. So I think we're agreement with pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Ask agencies to extend eviction foreclosure moratoriums. The only pushback that I have is, to me, it's not enough to just extend them if they have to pay the bill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why.
But I want to know, because okay, so I understand that people can't pay rent right now, also, but how are the owners of these buildings, how are they paying for the mortgage?
They're not. Or if they are, what's happening here? This is my only pushback. Now, it's a hell of a pushback, but it's my only pushback. The right thing to do is to extend evictions and foreclosures, right? The thinking behind this is number one, people can't afford to pay them, but two, and more importantly, you want to keep people in their homes during the pandemic. You don't want a whole bunch of homeless people crowding homeless shelters, making the pandemic worse. So it serves those two functions. My pushback, though, is it is not enough to simply extend evictions if they're still being charged. So from what I understand, and if this is wrong, I will come back on the show next week to clarify. But based on what I have read, people still have to pay the rent. They just can't be evicted.
Okay.
So.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying? So the bill is still piling up. So once the moratorium ends, you're just gonna have like a $7,000 bill for
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That is not.
That's not good.
Yeah. Now once again, I pray that I have the wrong information, but I have looked into this more than most people, and I believe what I just said is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't do that. You have to suspend the actual rent.
Yeah.
Like, or wipe it away, or if that's to be a plan to, once this eviction moratorium finishes, that the
Yeah, because
government
then
sends
people
out
are
a huge.
still going to be on the street,
Yeah,
regardless.
so
They're
you would
just
have to.
delaying the process of it happening.
Exactly. So you would have to send out a maybe like a $10,000 check to people to pay their rent.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, this is not helping. All you're doing is pushing. It's like, remember when you're growing up and you had to clean your room. Sometimes you clean it, but other times you just took everything and threw it in the closet. Eventually, your mom comes to check and she sees, oh, you just gonna throw it into the closet, huh? Now you got to really clean. And I think that's what they're doing here. And I will hope that there's a plan to help people pay the piling bills, once this is over. Now this is when Shannon
but also help the owners to pay their mortgages, because how are they paying their mortgages if they're not getting any rent?
Oh yeah, that's the point that I forgot to talk about. Yeah. So you asked that question. I don't know what they're doing, because some buildings and houses are owned by families. Like, we think everything's owned by big conglomerate corporations. Some buildings are. Other buildings and houses, they're leased out by regular families, and they use the rent that they get from their tenants to pay their bills. So they're not getting paid.
Nope.
And they still have to pay the banks.
Yep.
So what do you do with that? No idea what you're gonna do, but I hope that people getting paid more than me are thinking about it in the Biden campaign. But I think me and you still agree this is a good policy. Just probably do more, or hope that there's more in the works for this. Now, this is the one Shannon been waiting us to get to. All right. Ask the education department to extend student loan pause. And our request, I think, has been granted.
Thank you. This is good for me because I've still been trying to figure out, okay, so I was enrolled in a deferment program, right? So I was only paying like the interest on my loans for a while, because they were trying to charge me if I wasn't going to pay interest, and I was going to be paying like $400 a month for my student loans, which I can't afford to do right now. So I was just paying the interest. But then the deferment company that I was going through just went out of business. And I found out because I tried to call them, and then found out that they were being sued and they were shut down. So I'm just like, okay, but like, now what do I do? So I've been trying to like figure out what to do. Like, I've been trying to find other deferment programs to go to, and it's been a hard thing. So I'm just glad that this is being pushed off a little more, so I have time to figure that situation out.
Where's the thing that we have to really think about here, right? Because I saw AOC, she was happy that they did pause the student loan, and she said, okay, now cancel it.
Yes, that.
Get rid of all the debt. Look, man, I'm gonna say something here, and once we finish this list, if we have time, a conversation has to be had about our current political ideologies, because I don't understand why you wouldn't take this opportunity to get rid of student debt.
Yeah, and not just $10,000, like he said. I think he said like wipe out like $10,000. That's like not even some people's interest occurrance. So I feel like definitely that.
Yeah, I would get rid of all of it.
Yeah,
and like I said, I'm sure there is some economists screaming at us right now because we don't understand things. I said before, cut the defense budget, take the difference there, and use that to pay off the debt. Whatever you have to do. To me, getting rid of student debt is the obvious thing to do now for a couple of reasons. Number one, even if you're like a conservative or a Republican, it is still in the best interest of the country to get rid of debt for a couple of reasons. Once we get out of this pandemic, the world's going to look vastly different, right? Take us, for example, who we live in New York City. When I go to work, I know for a fact that all of those restaurants that I saw, all those bars that I saw, a bunch of them are going to be closed forever, for good. We are going to have to revamp the country.
Yep.
Restart the economy. You can't do that if people are straddled with debt.
Nope.
You can't do it. And so with the student loan stuff, young people are the ones that have a lot of the big ideas, the great ideas, and a lot of times what keeps them from doing certain things is debt. And so to me, I don't understand how anyone who wants the best, who's thinking about the best interest of the country can be against just getting rid of all of that debt, because that debt is really dragging people down. And we forgive debt for corporations all the time.
Yes.
All the time. We forgive. I mean, it happens on a continuous basis. So to not do that for actual citizens when they have tens of thousands of dollars of student loan debt that they are never going to be able to pay off, never, that you have them sign up for when they were 18, and we know that the human brain has finished developing until 25. Come on now. Yeah. So
it's a cycle that yes, the world has created by convincing people that they can't make a living if they don't go to school.
Yeah.
Good deal at that. That's another thing that they've also been saying, which is, Yeah,
it depends on what major you're going to get.
Yep.
If you are getting a degree in a major that doesn't pay that well, then you taking on loans doesn't make sense. Versus doctors are always in debt, but if you complete the program and now you're a doctor, you make pretty good money. So it's reasonable to suspect that you will be able to pay off your debt. But like you said, those conversations aren't had nearly enough. So all right, let's go and continue. Launch an initiative to advance racial equity and the 1776 Commission. And I imagine this is where we will have our first disagreement. So you are in favor of launching an initiative to advance racial equity, I assume.
Of course.
I am not.
Okay, why not?
Equality and equity are two different things.
Okay.
Equality is equal opportunity, so equality of opportunity. Equity is equality of outcome.
Okay.
Right? In order to have equality of outcome, you, by definition, have to discriminate or hold other people back. I think that's a mistake. I think you're already seeing this breakdown amongst people of color. Remove white people from the equation. You have a significant number of the Asian population that has been pushing back against affirmative action. We actually saw the bill in California that didn't pass. It was supposed to bring up reinstate affirmative action policies. It was rejected. California has one of the most diverse populations in the country. I think it is a mistake to push for racial equity. To me, number one, I'm not even sure if it's legal, but assuming that it even passes, I think the country gets into dangerous territory once you start to say, okay, unless we see certain racial outcomes, that is clear sign of racial discrimination. I don't think that's the case. You can have a difference in outcome without there being discrimination, because people of various demographics have different interests.
That's true.
So that's why I don't support this initiative here. I think tackle poverty and help poor people, certain people of color, because it's not true of all of them. Certain people of color are disproportionately poor. So by tackling poverty, you will help the black and brown amongst you that are also poor.
That's true. Okay, I actually can agree with you on that.
And the 1776 Commission, I would end it as well. I don't think that's something that Trump implemented to in his words, to teach a more pro-America view of history. That is too close to propaganda for me.
But you see, we did agree on this. Then you thought that we weren't going to agree.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think anybody's government should be engineering the type of history that we teach.
Yeah.
Although, who decides what we learn?
I don't know. That's a good question. And I have no clue.
Me either. So
the people at the education department, right? I
guess. All right. Revoke order that aims to exclude undocumented immigrants from census. So I remember this when Trump he excluded undocumented people from being counted against the census. And the census, I think, it helps determine how much aid your state gets from the federal government. Do you agree? Disagree?
Do I agree that he revoked the order? I do agree that he revoked the order. I do agree with his decision to revoke the order. Yes.
So you think that undocumented immigrants should be included in the census?
Yes, I do think that, because they are still in the country and they are still using the resources. So I feel like they need to be counted, because it's not like they're existing invisibly. They're here. So
yeah, I'm guessing the logic behind revoking that order from Trump was that if you don't count undocumented people, then it will dissuade states from, not assisting ICE or becoming sanctuary cities, etc., etc. I have more complicated thoughts and opinions about immigration. I think most Black people do. And for me, it's immigration in general. I'm not even talking about illegal immigration. I have mixed feelings about immigration, though. In this situation, I think I do side with you that you should count undocumented immigrants, because they use the same services that everyone else is used in those, cities and states and counties. So, yeah, I agree. Preserve, fortify DACA, which helps dreamers. This I support 100%. They were children when they were brought into the country. I don't understand sending somebody back to a place that they have no connection to whatsoever.
Yep.
See, it's one thing. It's one thing if you yourself get deported as an adult when you came to the country illegally. Now, do I feel bad for you? Yeah, probably. But you made that decision as an adult.
Yep.
Being brought here as a child, like at 1, 2, 5 years old, and spending your whole life in America, and then getting kicked out because your parents made a decision that you couldn't
control. Yep.
Control. That seems cruel to me.
Yes, it does. Very cruel.
Require mask distancing on all federal property and by federal workers.
I think you skipped one.
I did?
Yes.
No.
Oh, no, you didn't. Nope. Yeah. Never mind.
I think we both agree on that.
Yes, obviously.
Reverse travel ban targeting primarily Muslim countries. I think we agree on that.
Yes, we do. Stop
construction of the border wall. I agree on that for one simple reason. The wall was never going to be a thing.
No.
It's a waste of money. It's like, now once again, I'm not against border security or use drones, not drones that you kill people with. Like drones to surveil. I don't know, fly some drones back and forth so you can see what's happening. But building an entire wall along the border of the U.S., waste of money, waste of resources that could be better spent.
Taxpayer money. Money could be going towards my loans being paid off in full.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Combat discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity. Now, this immediately makes me perk up because this is a very vague statement.
Yeah, I was as you were reading it, I was wondering how, like, combat discrimination, where, like, what is this aiming at?
Well, it leaves here. And so it says Section 1 policy. Every person should be treated with respect and dignity.
Well, yes, that's obvious.
Learn. All right, look, read it. Children should be able to learn without worrying about whether they will be denied access to the restroom, the locker room, or school sports. And this is where I get uncomfortable.
Here.
You should be able to use the bathroom, whatever you want, whatever. Locker room, that makes me more uncomfortable, but okay, I can see the rationale. School sports, though, I don't think you should be able to I don't think. Now, I'll need your help with the proper verbiage here.
Okay.
A male who transitions to a female is a female transgendered person?
Yes.
All right. I don't think a female transgendered person should be allowed to compete athletically. I'm being very specific here. Athletically with out of the womb females.
I don't know if I agree with you on that.
Okay, talk to me.
Because so what are you suggesting they do? Are you suggesting that they still compete with the males?
Hey man, you might have to start I don't know, like a trans league.
No, but you see, that's impractical because
I hear you, but you do know that there is a physical difference between males.
Well, yes, I know that, but I just don't think that it's fair to exclude them entirely from playing sports. And I don't think that it's also fair to force them to play on a men's team if they don't identify as a man.
Okay, so what's your solution?
My solution is to just let them play on the girls. My solution is to let them play on the girls' team. If they identify as a female, let them play.
But here's the problem with that, though.
Hmm?
There are actual consequences to this because you have scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
Just fair play. Like, there's a reason why we have a WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I mean, yes, I understand that, but I just don't think that the solution would be to not allow them to play or to create a trans league. That doesn't sound entirely realistic. And also, I don't think that it's fair to ask them not to compete in sports. So I feel like the only solution is to let them play on their respective team.
But is that fair to the out of the womb females?
I think it's fair to everyone involved, in a sense.
How?
Maybe less so to the female. Maybe less so.
How's it fair to me?
I don't know. Maybe less fair to natural born females, but like I don't really know what the correct solution would. There is no correct solution, but to just let them play on the team that they identify with.
And see, this would be our first disagreement. I believe that women should be able to. I believe out of the womb, women should be allowed to have a fair shot at scholarships for athletics, a fair shot at the integrity of sports, and I don't think that is possible if you allow women who transition from being males to compete, because we've already seen stories about transgendered women just setting records when it comes to racing and seriously injuring women at combat sports. I don't think it's not fair to me. If I was a girl, I would be upset. I'm being honest, if I was a female athlete, I would be upset losing out on a scholarship against an individual who has a biological advantage over everybody else. So this is going to be one where me and Shannon finally disagree.
Okay.
Requires ethics pledge for executive branch personnel. I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not harming anyone, so it's fine.
Yeah, cool. Modernize and improve regulatory review. Okay. All right.
You should read this out loud for people who are listening on the podcast.
Okay. All right, so this the link takes me to the White House website, and it says, by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1, background. For nearly 4 decades, the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs and the Office of Management and Budget has been charged by presidents of both parties with reviewing significant executive branch regulatory actions. This process is largely governed by Executive Order 12866 of September 30th, 1993, as amended. This memorandum reaffirms the basic principles set forth in that order and in Executive Order 13563 of January 18th, 2011, which took important steps towards modernizing the regulatory review process. When carried out properly, that process can help to advance regulatory policies that improve the lives of American people. This is not helping me at all.
It's not. I was like, what are you reading right now? I don't understand.
Okay, so maybe it's under implementation. I therefore direct the director of OMB in consultation with representatives of executive departments and agencies as appropriate and as soon as practicable to begin a process with the goal of producing a set of recommendations for improving and modernizing regulatory review. So I'm guessing this executive order is modernizing and improving that process. So I don't know. I'm agnostic on it so far.
Okay.
End, quote, harsh and extreme immigration enforcement. So I'm assuming this is probably
end protect. Wait, what is it? End what?
No, it said end.
Okay.
Harsh and extreme immigration enforcement. And so
does that mean stop ICE from breaking down your door in the middle of the night? And Deporting you?
Well, he's saying here that his administration will reset the policies and practices for enforcing civil immigration laws to align enforcement with the values and with dignity and respect. And so it says, I don't know, it's not really saying anything. Yeah, okay, so this one is vague as well. Extend protection from deportation for Liberians in the U.S. Sure, I'm sure this is pertaining to something we agreed to that we're trying to slither our way out of. So no. Revoke certain executive orders concerning federal regulations. This is pretty much him undoing executive orders from Trump.
Yep.
Freeze any new or pending regulations. That's in the same vein. Fill supply shortfalls and fight versus COVID-19 with Defense Production Act are the measures. I agree with that 100%. Increase FEMA reimbursement to states for National Guard, PPE. Agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to agree with anything COVID related. Establish COVID-19 pandemic testing board. Expand testing. Agreed. Bolster access to COVID-19 treatments and clinical care. Agree. Improve collection analysis of COVID-related data. Agree. Mount vaccination campaign amid goals such as 100 million shots in 100 days. I don't think he'll be able to do it, but
I don't think he'll be able to do it either. Most appointments in New York were postponed 3 weeks because they're out of supply.
Dude, not only are they out of supply, some places that they're running they like disposed of a bunch of them.
Yeah, I know.
Which is insane. Provide guidance on safely reopening schools. I mean, to me, this is kind of a.
I don't really know how you can safely reopen schools if everyone in said school is not vaccinated. And even then, I don't think you can safely reopen schools because then you got to worry about, because like even if you're vaccinated, you still carry the virus to others who are not vaccinated.
Yeah. I mean, you could have safely reopened the schools because, in this respect, most children don't seem to spread this thing as much as adults. And if they do catch it, it doesn't seem to affect them that much. So I'm sure there is. Go ahead.
It's not even about that. It's just about spreading it to others, spreading it to their parents, grandparents, whoever they live with at home, if they do catch it.
But that's what I'm saying. Based on a lot of the evidence, they don't seem to spread it amongst each other.
Oh, really? You don't? Okay.
Yeah, it seems to be that when a child does have coronavirus, it is usually a parent gave it to a child, an adult gave it to a child, not a child who caught it from a child and then gave it to an adult. That doesn't seem to be the way it's spreading.
I do believe that it is actually safe to open schools like for a certain grade and up. I just think it's harder to manage smaller children, making sure they have their masks on, making sure they're social distancing. I just think that is hard to do.
I agree. But to me, the reason why I say I'm not really sure what this means is because it's providing guidance. The federal government doesn't really dictate what schools do. As a state issue.
Yeah,
states have the power to.
Well, he's just going to provide guidance. He's not saying that he can actually do anything about it, but he can provide guidance to the states.
Yeah, but okay. Well, then why is that an executive order?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. OSHA guidance for keeping workers safe from COVID-19. This is like another one of those things where I don't know what this means. It's not a real order. Require face mask at airports, other modes of transportation. Okay, I like it.
Already a thing.
Huh?
I thought that was already a thing.
No.
Yes. You have to wear your face mask at the airport. Yeah, you do.
No, but that was coming from the airport provider, though.
Oh, okay, but now it's coming from the president.
Yeah.
It's already a thing. Okay, continue.
Establish a COVID-19 health equity task force. There goes that word again. I don't know what that means. Equity. And the last was support international response to COVID-19, restore U.S. global leadership. This is important because we don't live in the 1950s anymore. The world is connected now. And so in order for things to get back to we don't really realize how much flights go in and out of the U.S. on a daily basis. How much traveling takes place between countries. The world is global now. So you can't really get back to normal until you have the virus controlled on a global scale. Now, I think the approach should be, start from within. So you don't start with your country and then branch out. But for a place like America, yes, you do have to help the world defeat this thing or get it manageable so that you can go back to opening your borders, opening your airports, having people come in. Many places, for them, New York City, we get a lot of money from just tourists and tourism, right? So you need those things to happen again. So I think that's the right approach. You can't be an American only on that one. You have to have a global approach.
Yes. Agree.
So, yeah, I kind of agree with everything that he's laid out. Most of them.
Good start on your first day, Joe.
Yes. Good start on your first day, Joe.
But I hope that so he did a bunch. He's mainly, his goal is to get COVID under control and also redo a lot of Trump's harmful policies. I just hope that this momentum, keeps going and it doesn't, it's not just a show for his first 10 days in office.
Yeah, it won't keep going. I'm pretty confident on
that. Well, I like to have a little more faith than Jabaya, but okay.
Because this is like Obama 2.0. People forget when Obama came into office, he had kind of like a similar setup. I think he was the president, of course. He had the House and the Senate. It flipped 2 years in his first term. People forget that. So the Republicans didn't really have the capability of playing obstructionist until the Democrats lost the midterms during Obama's first term. But he didn't really do anything with it. And so similarly here, I feel like what's going to happen here, everyone agrees with most of the COVID stuff. But once you get into like the other stuff where he can really, I don't know, try to transform some things, he's not going to do it. And that's not me including my bet that I have with myself that I think he makes it a year and a half.
Okay, well, I'm not going to talk about his debt. That's not what I'm talking about. Jabaya is trying to be very morbid, and I'm not trying to go in that direction.
I'm just saying.
Not going to engage.
Wait. You're trying to tell me Kamala is not dying to use that 25th Amendment? You know she is.
I'm not going to engage in the morbid talk. I'm trying to be a more positive person. So.
She is waiting to tell Nancy Pelosi, I don't think the president has the mental capacity to do this anymore. So I'm invoking the 25th Amendment, Nancy.
Okay. I'm trying to be a more positive person. So I'm not really commenting on that.
I get it. And that's an hour for us. Thank you. I think we did a good job telling people about the stuff.
Yes.
Today.
And make sure you stimulate the economy by playing Powerball.
Yeah, how much was the Powerball?
No one won again, so now it's up to $970 million.
No, I thought somebody won the other day.
Oh, that was no, I meant Mega Millions. Sorry, not Powerball. Somebody did win Powerball, but nobody has won Mega Millions yet, and now it's up to $970 million.
How late can you buy a ticket for Mega Millions?
I think the next drawing is Saturday, Wednesday, sometime next week.
I'm gonna Google it. And I'm gonna buy me like 20 tickets. If I hit this, here's how you'll know, listeners. You won't have another Black Column episode.
Oh, I think it's. Hold on, wait. Wait, what did you say? Oh, the next one is tomorrow. The next drawing is tomorrow.
So I can buy one tomorrow morning?
Yes. You have until like 10 p.m. to buy a ticket because they draw the numbers at 11.
Yeah. So just know, Jabaya hits this, you'll know because there won't be a Black Column podcast.
What do you mean? You're not going to do your podcast if you inherit 970? How much do you think that is after taxes? Like probably like 600 million?
It don't matter. It's over 500 million.
Yeah, it is.
And if it's over 500 million, that means I have enough money to literally be Tony Stark.
But you don't get that all at once, just so you know.
I don't care if they gave it to me monthly. That means within 5 years, I will be Tony Stark.
Okay.
I got time to do the show. I'm gonna be out there actually saving the world. Okay. With that said, I want to thank you all for listening and pray for me that I win a lot. See, Shannon doesn't need to win it. So she's not gonna do anything with the money.
What do you mean?
Shannon, you're not gonna do anything transformative with the money.
Yes, I am. First, I'm gonna transform my own life and pay off my debts. Then I'll work on transforming the world in some other way.
See how she started with herself?
And I'm gonna pay off my family's debts. Mine and my family, and then I will work on the world. You know, that's take care of yourself.
And I'm starting from the world first.
Okay, well,
Iron Man. Yes. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
And watching. Mm-hmm. This is our second show using the StreamYard. So see how it comes out. Otherwise, we'll be back using that Zoom. But thank you. Remember to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play.
Google
Podcast. Sorry, it used to be Google Play, right?
I think so. Have no clue.
Yeah. Google Podcast, Stitcher. Check out our YouTube. The links will be provided in the show notes as usual. Thank you. We will see you guys next week.
Yes.
Until next time, deuces.